Welcome to Skinterviews. I am one of your two hosts. My name is George Scandalis, and this stud muffin over here
is Nathan Strong. I wouldn't go that far, George. What's been going on, buddy?
I've been locked up for a while, man. Everything's looking good to me these days.
Fair enough. Now, speaking of being locked up, the guest we have tonight, you don't want to lock him up for too long. He's a great guy, man. Like, I've happened to had the pleasure of meeting him 3 or 4 times over the last 2 years, and I had a great time. I think it was last October. He put on an open house at his clinic in Moncton, and while we was at an event, we had live bands, live DJs, the red carpet, and they were taking professional photos for everyone coming in. They were collaborating with local restaurants, local fashion designers. This guy's a true entrepreneur. He's a true businessman. But the best thing about him is he's a top bloke, and he's just such a great guy to sit down with and have a beer or a yarn about anything. And I'm really excited to have him on the show today.
Wait. What is a yarn?
A yarn. It's in New Zealand. That's what we call a chat.
Oh, a chat. So you had a
conversation. Yeah, we had a good conversation.
A yawn means that he's boring.
No, yarn. Y-A-R-N, I think it's spelled. Should we bring this guy out? Because
let's bring him on for a yarn.
Well, he's a lot more interesting than you and I. Put it that way. Let's bring him out. I'd like to introduce everyone to Dr. Brent Howley.
Hello. I hope that I'm not sure if I'm going to be a yawn or a yawn. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see maybe at the end of the interview we can take a poll or something to see if it was a yawn or yawn. I don't know, but
I love that.
There you go. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. Well, thanks for the intro. This is a really, really great idea you guys come up with, right? Just sitting around and just shooting and chatting. And I'm really happy just to, first of all, meet George. I actually haven't officially met George before this. So this is great.
We met like this, but I think the next time, from what I hear, I'm going to meet you at an open house.
I'll roll out the red carpet for you, George.
Just for me.
Sure, just for you. That's it. I won't let anyone else walk on it.
After I walk on it, though, you got to roll it back in. So Nathan has to be like, hey.
What we'll do is we'll roll the red carpet for you, and then when you're done, we'll flip it over and let him walk on the rubber.
Yeah.
The rubber walk.
You are my type of yan.
Yeah, that's it. See, it's not a yawn, it's a yarn.
I love it.
How's life during everything going on right now?
Well, it's an interesting time. It's full of challenges, like everyone, right? We're all stressed out, right? Everyone's stressed out. You're not working, your income's gone. It's a portfolio that no one really planned for. But I've had my downs. I talked to Nathan about this last week, right? I mean, I had my days where I'm like, it's 5 a.m. Am I still up, watching Netflix? Honest to God, I was in the boots, right? Just because you lose your your motivation, if you will, right? I mean, myself, as a professional, from the time I was 17 years old, I worked. I just work, and I go, and then I get this thing handed to me. And I'm kind of like a lost puppy a little bit, right? I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I hung some paintings in the basement that have been there for 3 years, they're actually on the wall. And then you run out of projects, right? So you kind of, it's easy to fall into this you lose yourself. You lose what you're about, right? I mean, my whole life has been just whether it's work or family, whatever, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And for 3 or 4 days, you can get by that. But after week 2, week 3, you start to get into, and Nathan and I chat about this. It's like, holy Christ, 5 a.m. and I've just watched the 5th rerun of Ozark. Are you kidding me? What's going on? The sun is coming up and I've lost my mind. So what I've done is I just tried to, just house it in my brain and recognize the fact that this is reality and make it positive. So Lindsay, my better half, and I, we took to just, we're going to eat well, we're going to cook well, we're going to work out, we're going to do stuff. Because at the end of this thing, you're coming out the tunnel, right? You're going to come out the tunnel. How you come out the tunnel, that's up to you.
Right? I don't think I'm going to fit through the tunnel.
Fine, we'll widen the tunnel. We can widen it. I mean,
you're going to need a whole subway tunnel to get my fat ass out of there. COVID insomnia is a serious thing. There's nights at 5 a.m. and I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm just watching another episode or playing Candy Crush for no reason.
Yeah. But so long as you have top score on Candy Crush, that's what matters, man. You come out on top, right?
That's right. As long as you're winning at something, you nailed it.
It doesn't matter.
We're gonna go right into the interview. I'm going to take you right back to, as I like to say, to day zero.
Yeah.
Out you come into the world. Your mom and dad decide to name you Brent Howley. Is that the full name? Is there a meaning behind the name? Were you named after someone?
So so my full name on my passport and my license is David Brent Howley. So the David, which is my first name, I guess, my dad's name is David. So my mom and dad, I guess, probably my mom, because my dad probably had no say in it. But anyway, so they went David Brent Howley, but they called me by Brent so that we didn't have two Davids in the house. Now, if you want to have a pain in the ass as a 7-year-old, go by your middle name, right? So you're in this, I'm in this school, and I'm like, David Howley, David, and I'm waiting for my name to be called, right? I'm right here. It's Brent. And then you got to stand up. Excuse me. What's your name? Oh, it was just a nightmare. So the Brent part, I don't know. My mom probably found that in some, shadowing magazine or something. But the David was after my dad. So I go by my middle name officially. But yeah.
Any siblings?
What's that? Yeah, I have two sisters. I have a younger sister and two younger sisters. I guess the older of the two still lives back in Cape Breton, where I'm from, in Glace Bay. In fact, he's next door to my mom and dad, stealing their groceries and doing shit, doing and the younger of the two, she was living in Kelowna. She was out in Vancouver for a bit in BC and found a great guy, Chris. They married. They were in Vancouver for a bit, and then were living in Kelowna. And then a few years ago, actually moved to Moncton. So she's 2 doors down from me right now.
Amazing.
And yeah, so it's fantastic. So she's there with her husband, who's just a great guy. He's fantastic. In fact, this afternoon, he was over this afternoon. So they got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old now. And we were out back building tree houses for the kids. Right. So yeah, just cool stuff. And that's awesome.
Do you have kids yourself?
I do. I have 2 girls. They're 9 and 12. The 12-year-old is very organized. It's like hanging out with a 30-year-old, super organized woman. The 9-year-old is like hanging out with a Bob Marley. She's she's just doesn't care, just whatever. So, but they're great. They're great, and they're coping okay, right? They're doing like the rest of the kids. They're doing some homeschooling and stuff like that, just to keep their academics up. And yeah, good kids. They're getting through. My younger one said to me, she said, "I cannot wait until 2 months until summer vacation starts." 5 months, man. This is crazy.
I'm with her on that one.
I'm looking forward to myself, but yeah, so that's good. Yeah, so just spending the days just trying to, stay positive and do stuff that, I look at it as an opportunity in a way. It's negative, right? Anyone who says this is positive, really, it's negative, right? Let's be honest. I mean, people are unemployed, they're on unemployment, you're doing whatever. But you look at it like, I will probably never again have an opportunity for what I do to take a hiatus, to take 2 months to not work, right?
Absolutely.
So you use it to your advantage, right? You just say, okay, I didn't sign up for this, but hey, it's good. So,
right,
yeah.
So I'm gonna show you a couple of photos here, and I want you to I want you to think back to these days and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about you growing up as a kid, because these are two cute little photos of you here, mate.
Well, I'd like to say that on both of them, it looks like probably I should have a chin strap on because my hair maybe looks like a helmet. When I was young, we didn't go to a hairdresser. My mom used to cut my hair. And now that I look at these, I realize that she probably never should have been a hairdresser. But and those lenses that I'm wearing, like those are bug shields or something.
We'll have another look, shall we? There we go.
Wow, look at that, eh?
I feel like I'm watching an episode of Stranger Things right now.
Yeah, I look like Sheldon from from the show. And look at the collar. Look at the collar on that right shot. I mean, that is pressed. That is proper. That's.
I was more looking at the turtleneck, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if you had a turtleneck though, and it wasn't the full one, they call it a dickie. It was, it was just like the shoulders that like a priest would wear. I don't know. I think with a little black middle there, I could have done some, gave a communion or something at the Catholic Church. But anyway, that's now, guys, that was in style at the time, or so. I think it was in style. So no, growing up, I grew up in Glace Bay in Cape Breton, which was a little blue collar town. That was the big feeders there, where they had a fishery, they had the coal mine, and they had a steel mill. So it was a kind of a industrial kind of place. My buddies and I lived a pretty kind of simple kind of childhood. You know, you get up in the morning in the summer, you put your shorts on, no sunscreen, let's go, and be back at 5 for supper. You ate as quick as you could, and then you're back out again, right? We drove our motorcycles around. We got in a little bit of trouble, but not bad trouble. You know what I mean? Like the biggest trouble was we used to steal wood from one of the local hardware stores. Had a yard where they used to keep the wood, and we used to come up under the fence and steal wood so we could build cabins and stuff. So we got a couple times we got busted for that, but it is what it is. We did some fishing, drove our motorbikes, like typical little, just being a boy kind of thing.
And was being a doctor always on the cards? Was that what you wanted to be?
No one in my family, actually. No one. Oh my God, I don't even know how many cousins I have. I don't even know some of them. But so my mom has 5 sisters and a brother. My dad has 2. No one in my family was in medicine at all. None. 0. And I think I got a lucky break. I hooked up with some guys who I followed their paths, I guess. Okay. And that was probably in grade 10. Going through high school, I was a pretty smart kid. Got some good grades. Studied, kind of geek. And then in grade 10, 11, I met up with a guy who had a sister who went to university, which from my family was unheard of, going to university. I mean, that was, you just didn't, right? Typically you go, you fish, you work in the coal mine, you work whatever. So anyway, I hooked up with this guy who's actually on Friday night, we just had a Zoom meeting, a bunch of these guys. So it was great. So we still connected, but I got exposed to it, I guess, via him and his older sister, university life. And so both of us actually went off to St. FX, which was in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. So went to university, and that on its own was kind of like a big thing for me, because I hadn't been exposed to that outside of this, what I saw with him. And just went through university, and again, I did well. I actually, my first set of midterms, my average score was 30. But that was just lack of effort or trying. Anyway, so got through it and got some good scores. And then when you're I took a Bachelor of Science program. So when you're in a Bachelor of Science program and you're doing well, it's just by default, right? You're going to do pharmacy. You're going to do medicine. You're going to do dentistry. It's kind of almost a pattern. I really had no direction mentally. Like, I wasn't one of these little guys who said, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be, right? I mean, I was just partying through university. Like, it was just a big rip, right? So when I got the diploma, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm done. Like, okay, all right, that was fun. What do we do now? So I actually didn't do anything. So I finished up my undergrad at St. FX, and I moved to Halifax, and I was living in a 3-bedroom apartment with 7 guys, 5 or 7, which worked out because usually 2 or 3 didn't come home most nights, right? So I spent 2 years. I was a barista at a coffee shop. I was a doorman at a pub, and I was a busboy and a waiter, and did all this stuff for like 2 years. And I had this draw to medicine, I guess, just innately, not from anything else, just within me. So I applied, and I did the exams, I did the testing, and I did all that, and then eventually got into medical school at Dell. But what was funny about it, when I got in, I was a full-time bartender at this pub downtown, and I was making a killing. Right? I was living life, right? Like I was like Friday night, like I'm like showing up, I'm like having some drinks, I'm hitting on gals. It's like Friday, Saturday night is perfect, and now all of a sudden I'm in medical school. So I kept the job on the weekends. So I would go to school during the week, and then I'd like partied up all weekend. And I eventually had to give it up because I had to, as a medical student, carry this stupid pager around, had to be on call. I'm like, right. Well, I can't really answer the call from like the shooter bar. Like that's so I had to give it up. But so that's kind of how, it kind of happened. There was a lot of effort on my part, a little bit of luck. And I just persevered, and that's kind of how it came. It wasn't like I didn't dig this down from deep at age 6, like I'm going to be a doc. I just kind of rolled with it, and that's how it happened. Really, I had a great time doing it.
So before I let George get into the nitty gritty of things, I'm sure you growing up or in your teenage or university years, you have a cracker of a story to tell us, something really, really funny. We would love to hear it on Skinterviews.
A funny story. Wow. Well, I have a few. Some are probably not so funny. I have to be careful because I don't want the RCMP to show up at my front door after this interview. Away, right? We've been looking for you for a long time. We finally got it on Skinterviews. You admitted it. What would be a great story? Most of them were I mean, funny stories were being guys and just being like having fun, right? Like everyone's done, right? You're at the bar, you're having some drinks, you've done stupid things. And I had a terrible, terrible experience when I was in undergrad. My roommate at the time, so I would have been in second year university, and my roommate at the time was killed in a car accident. It was terrible, you went through it. And about 3 months later, they were having a kind of a memorial at the university. So my buddies and I went out the night before, the big party and everything's going on, and we're kind of like drinking our sorrows away and being idiots and whatever. So a buddy and I end up being carted away by the officials, by the police of the local town. And anyway, we spent the night there, and showed up the next day at this service for a friend of mine, and I thought, wow, we were embarrassed, we're stupid, and you don't often show up at your memorial like in the police car, like that wasn't like really shouldn't have happened, But these are the stupid things you do when you're young, and yeah, that was kind of I don't know if it was a funny story, but it was kind of an embarrassing one. But that was life, right? I mean, that's you live and learn.
Tell me about your first love.
My first love?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And where is she today?
My first love. I just heard my better half. She's in the bed, and she said, "You better save me." He didn't ask what my last love was. He said my first love.
Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
She's there. I can hear her. She's monitoring my interview. First love probably would have been. I was a really late bloomer. Honest to God, I don't even think I had pubic hair until grade 12. To be honest with you, it was like I was a really late bloomer. So I think my first love. Oof. Her name, I guess, would have been grade grade 11, grade 12. Kelly Hoffman is her name. I went to the grad with her. I went to grad, like the high school grad with her. Like I thought I was cool, right? Because she was cool, so therefore I was cool, which I really wasn't. I think I was still wearing those same glasses that you see. Right? I tricked her into going with me. I don't know. So yeah, I guess my first love, was I in love with her at the time? I don't know. I was a teenage boy. I was in love with everything. Like I was in love with like Tostitos, right? Like I just was like,
Was she your first kiss?
She was, yeah. I was a late bloomer.
How were you? Were you good?
I was awesome. I mean, come on. I mean, I might have been new at it, but I mean, when it comes to performing, I'm a 10 out of 10. Like
I'm waiting for a yell from the other room right now.
Yeah. Well, so I think she is actually a nurse in Fredericton, actually. I think so. Yeah. I haven't talked to this gal in years and years. I mean, she's married, kids and stuff like that. But I believe she's a nurse in Fredericton. I think
so. We might actually track her down for the second part of this interview in a couple of months, just to see if you were a 10 out of 10 shower.
She probably won't answer.
Who's your first celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush? Now or just
both? Give me then and now.
I always had a thing, and I'm embarrassed to say it because everyone pulls it. I always had a thing for Jennifer Aniston. I did. I still do. And I had a thing for Renee Zellweger until she got her eyes done. She did something with her eyes and really messed it up, which, yeah. So if I had to take my hall pass, probably be Jennifer Aniston. Yeah.
She's like a fourth cousin of mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Fourth or fifth cousin, something like that.
Maybe they hook us up.
So, if I ever meet her, I'm going to be like, hey,
there's this guy in Moncton who has a real big crush on you.
He's a great performer. His wife says he's a 6 out of 10. But
6.
And he's got a hall pass for you.
Yeah. So, tell me the last song you sang in your shower.
Last song I sang in the shower. What was I singing the other day, Linz? I was singing some song. I think it was like "Go Tell It on a Mountain." Go tell it on a mountain.
How does it go?
Why was I even singing this stupid song? Go tell it on a mountain, over the hills and everywhere. I don't even know why I'm singing the song. I'm embarrassed to sing it for you now, but that's what I sang in the shower. And that don't take anything from that, right? Well, that I think that was the last one. Am I right, Lynn?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well,
it would have been better had I sang like some P Diddy or something like that. Cool, but no, go tell on a mountain. Yeah.
The next question is supposed to be the last lie you told your significant other, but she's listening, so I want the last lie she told you and you caught her.
What was the? Oh, I like her in that room.
Bring her out.
Yeah, are you there? Come here. Oh, you know what happened? No, hear this. She always says to me, I can't trust you. I leave for an hour. You're in the stuff, blah, 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 blah. So I leave.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Tell me the last lie he told you and you caught him. This is going to be more interesting.
Oh, God, there's so many.
Oof. Let's see.
Well, how about this story? How about this one?
No, I'm answering.
Okay, and I'm going to get out of my seat now, right? She's going to take over.
Probably where he was.
Ooh.
Yeah, it would be that. Because he likes to buy toys, like that sort of thing. So he probably says, I'm on my way home, and then finds out that he's not. Yamaha. Like things like.
Well, I was on the way home. I didn't lie. I was on the way home. Right? I didn't lie. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on the way home."
Via Yamaha. That's awesome.
So I stopped and bought a boat on the way home. I mean, right? But so yesterday I leave for 1 hour. 1 hour I leave the house. And I'm at the store and I look at my phone. She's like, "Oh my God, does blood come off deck boards?"
Oh my God.
I'm like, it's only gone an hour. Why is there bleeding? What? She sends me this photo. She's got rags full of blood. There's like, and I'm in the line. I'm like, what in God's earth are you doing? She's doing something to her nails, or I don't know what she's doing, clipping and doing whatever. It gets into what she calls a major artery. All right. So she's bleeding. Look at this. Like, I don't know if you can see this. This is the, I don't know if it'll show up or not.
No, it's going right now. Hold on.
Right now. Oh, that's food. Where's your, oh, so this is the photo I get. Like this like bloody, that's dried up. So I'm like, what are you doing? She said, "I'm doing my toenails. I'm doing a pedicure." I'm like, okay, last time I checked, I'm not a pedicure expert, but there wasn't bleeding. We didn't have to transfuse anyone, and we didn't hit any major arteries. Could you stop what you're doing? Like, honest to God.
Oh my gosh. I could move in with you guys for a week. I would get a 6-pack abs from laughing.
Oh, yeah. And this is the best. So this rag, then she gets up to go in the house to get some water, and the dog eats the bloody rag.
Oh,
my dog is now eating this bloody rag, which she's probably going to pass in about an hour on the front lawn. I'm saying, I've been gone an hour. Like, why is there surgery going down on your foot?
I know why you need the boat. Someone's going overboard.
That's right. I can dunk her foot in the water and just let it wash away. Right?
Oh man.
No, we have fun. No, Lindsay's awesome. We and like we spend our days together, right? Just hanging out, just trying to do stuff and stay happy and healthy. I did something tonight. I felt like I was a 65-year-old retiree. I said, "Can we go for a power walk?" This is where my brain is. Like, this is how crazy it's become. He's beside me and she's got the arms going and she's trying to get her quota in. I'm like, we're not flying, right? We're not trying to flight. Like, you can yeah, and then I started walking. I think I said I threw out a hip. Like, when I got back, you know, these like a crazy sport. These guys like these speed walkers, and they for some reason have to wear these really short shorts. And I'm like, what is up? So we went for this like 4-kilometer power walk. I don't know what that was all about, but I came home and I'm in pain. I hurt actually. This is where life has taken me: power walking and controlling the bleeding on the back deck from the pedicures.
Are you the type of person that cooks?
Yes. Yeah. Right. I'm the cooker. I'm the cooker in the house, and I don't use recipes. And I wouldn't say I'm good. I kind of do it just like tonight. I took out some chicken. I'm probably just going to take that out. I'll slice it. I'll put it in the oven, and I'll just start adding stuff. Right. Like every night I'll add a different thing. Right. What's the flavor going to be tonight? I don't know. See it if you like it.
I'll stop you there. I'll put you on the spot a bit about cooking. So imagine you can invite 3 people.
Yep.
Whoever you want, dead or alive, to your dinner table tonight. Who would those 3 people be and why? And what would you cook up for them?
First of all, I wouldn't do too much cooking because I want to pay attention to the people. So I'd probably order pizza.
Fair enough.
Right? Because I don't want to spend my time like in the kitchen and doing stuff. Because if I get these people, I want to talk to them. Right? Yeah. I want to have a serious conversation. Dead or alive. Number one, I'd probably take Christopher Columbus. Because this guy, right, he's sailed the seas, he's raped and pillaged, he's got some good stories, right? He's going to have good stuff, right? I mean, this is not going to be boring talking to this guy, right? Yeah. So I'd probably take him, Christopher Columbus, just for the enjoyment of, you did what? What did you do? Really? Probably take him. I might get a little political. I might take like a Malcolm X kind of thing. just to get some of his like brainwaves and what he was going through. And then, well, who would be I don't know, who else would we invite, Lance? I'd probably like to have a real fireside chat with Donald Trump. I'd really like to sit him down and just, like, Donald, just cut it. Like, let's have a sit. Are you for real? Like, honest to God. Like, I just want to know, like, is this like some of your stuff, man, is killer. I just want to know if it's scripted. Are you for real? Right? So we'd have like Christopher Columbus, Malcolm X, and Donald Trump all at a table eating pepperoni pizza. I think that would kill it. Like, that could go anywhere. That could go anywhere, right?
I would love to. If that happens, can you invite us over, please?
I'm going to invite you over. Yeah. I'll see. I'll just ask you, like, okay, Christopher Columbus, you can tell your stories about your boat, and then you ran ashore, and you raped and pillaged for communities, and you took whatever, and then I don't even know what Malcolm X was doing. Like, who knows? And then we got Donald Trump, right? He can slice the pizza. He'll serve it up fairly. Like, it's gonna be a good time. I think it'll actually be a good time.
So I'm sure the viewers would love to hear the answer to this question. What do you do when you first wake up in the morning?
When I first wake up in the morning, what is I usually get up. I have a dog. So my first thing is I get up. I'm trying to think of this morning. I got up. The dog prances me around. So I take her out and make a coffee. And we've been trying to work out a lot. So do a little cardio downstairs. That's pretty much my first thing most days. Yeah. I don't shower when I get up. In fact, with this COVID, I mean, I go 2-3 days not shower.
It happens.
Yeah. So just get up and do that, and then putter around. And then I got this little project list in my head. I usually don't achieve any of the goals, but I have a lot of them in my head. Like, I had 3 paintings downstairs I hang up one. Like, I don't want to overdo it. Like, I don't want to waste all my, like, I have.
You don't want to rush. You got more time still, right?
Oh my God. I'm going to have to, like, August, right? So I don't want to exhaust all my options early on. Right. So yeah, it's kind of a chill thing. And I still try to get up at a reasonable time. Now, when I'm working, right, I'm getting up at like 5:30. Now I'm usually getting up at like 8, something like that, 8:30. I sleep in. Why? Because I can. And I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that, right? So get up and keep busy. Yeah, usually get coffee, take the dog out.
So you're a pretty chilled guy, Brent, and I'm lucky enough to know you better than some of our viewers. You're a chilled guy, a very successful businessman, a very, very successful surgeon, and I look up to you as a bit of a rock star in our industry at times. Like, I love the way you roll. Talk to me, because like, life isn't always rosy. I'd love to hear maybe an obstacle or some obstacles that you've faced in your career and how you've overcome them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my success in where I am comes from just being a regular guy. Honest to God, like I mean, I surround myself with people like Lindsay, who is, you surround your, if you're a guitar player and you want to be a phenomenal guitar player, get yourself a good band.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how I got to where I am, and I work hard at it, and I keep it very simple. Like, I keep it really simple. And I'm not one of these really, super intelligent guys. Like, I was on a Zoom meeting last week with the Canadian Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeries, and Scott Barr is the president of this. And we were talking about just, life in COVID-19 and what are we going to do? Like, I listen to these guys and I'm almost intellectually embarrassed. Like, these guys are brilliant. Like, the stuff they're thinking about and what they're doing, I just kind of a simple Joe. So I keep it simple, but it works, right? And I think people relate to that, because that's who I am. And so, I mean, in terms of obstacles, I think, well, I'm in one right now. I mean, this is a huge one, right? I mean, I'm going to have to probably, in terms of obstacles that I've faced or am facing, right now today at 8 o'clock on May, whatever date it is. I don't even know the date. That's terrible. But, this is a major obstacle for me. And what I'm going to have to do is adapt. I've always said that it's not the strongest who survive. It's those who can adapt. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to adapt. So we're going to have to change our clinic. We're going to have to change our policies. We're going to have to change how we interact with patients. We're going to have to change how we provide care and follow for all these patients. Like, this is a huge, huge thing. Like, it's, putting the disease of COVID-19 aside and all the stuff that we're going to have to deal with is going to be a major transformation. So I think in terms of obstacles, I'm on one right now. Like, I'm climbing up that obstacle wall and trying to figure it out. Probably outside of that, what was my biggest obstacle? Probably when I came here to Moncton, because I came in 2006, and just started out like a community plastic surgeon, just doing everything. And I remember I got the first phone call from a lady who wanted breast augmentation, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I've seen that. And I remember at the time I made myself my little cards, my own little cards I made with the perforated edges, and I was handing these things out, and the writing was all crooked, and it was terrible. So that was not an obstacle, but it was something that I had to change in terms of changing who I was and how I represented myself. But it took a bit of hard work. So I wouldn't say it was an obstacle. It was a learning curve for sure.
If you could change one thing about our industry, what would you change?
What would I change? I would change, I don't know if I'd change it, but here's the one thing that I am passionate about. If you take a product, I'm going to take it doesn't matter the product. Let's say it's a product that's only available to professionals, we'll say, to physicians or nurse practitioners or whatever. If I were a company, if you will, that had this product, I would want this product to be delivered in the best fashion there was. Okay? So when this product gets delivered to a client, I want it to be delivered by a professional, followed up by a professional, and cared for by a professional, because it's my product. And what I see out there sometimes, in terms of, again, not to name names of products, is that some of the companies, all they want to do is just push product. They just want to push it. They don't care who's selling it. They don't care who's following up and what kind of care they're giving to the patients. For them, it's a numbers game, right? We sold 10,000 units of blank. Just get it out. So if I could change one thing, it would be that product is being being sold or given or sold by a professional who's going to follow it up and take care of that person, take care of that client or whatever you want to call it. Because I think in the long run, that gives you longevity and it gives you professionalism. And a lot of times I see it's just a numbers game, right? Let's just sell product. There's there's people driving around selling product out of the back of a bus, right? And I think it takes away from the quality of the product. It takes away from what it means, its value. So I could change one thing, it would be that.
Based on that, a lot of times what we find in our industry is doctors make decisions based on relationship or on a business deal or on pricing, and not so much the best option. I hate to say that on this, but the best option for their clients. How do you make that decision for your practice?
I always look at my practice is a business. Okay. So if I can get the same product for $7 versus $10, I'm going with $7 if it's the same product, right? So, and this is, and I rely heavily on people like Nathan, like my reps, these companies who I know have support and I trust.
Right.
So first of all, I want to have that. I need that. I need to have the support. I need to believe in what I'm selling. And I probably told Nathan this, and I tell patients this. Listen, I don't own the company. Okay. I don't care if you buy X or Y or B. It doesn't matter to me. What I want is I want you to a purchase or have a treatment or have whatever that you are going to get a result and be happy with. Right. That's what I want. Okay. That's what I want. So in other words, if you can come and if tomorrow you said you're going to open your clinic and someone's going to buy 100 boxes of whatever product and you'll never see these people again, I wouldn't sell one, not one, because I don't want to just sell product. I want to involve my patients. I want to capture them. I want to deliver something, a feeling, an interaction, right? So when I make the decisions, it's definitely not based on the dollar. It's based on what is going to get me, what am I going to deliver to this person, this client, this patient, that is going to be sensible, so that in 6 months' time, we're both happy. They're getting a result. I feel like I've done something for them that has gotten them a positive result. And it doesn't matter to me whether it's product X, Y, B, or Z. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. So that's how I make the decision. And luckily I have access to great products and companies, and I use the ones that are appropriate. I'm not strong on one. I use them all. Right. So, awesome. Yeah.
Nathan, you want to go into COVID a bit? I know we talked about quite a bit at the beginning.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about COVID. So tell us a little bit about how you think you're going to have to pivot as a business coming out of this COVID time.
Yeah, it's going to be a real hard slog for everyone, right? It's going to be a real challenge for any small business, physician, private clinic, plastic surgery, whatever. This is going to be a real challenge. Moving forward, what I don't want to be is the guy who's at the back, right? So, I had a Zoom meeting with my staff just last week, and I told them, I said, look, this is going to be a whole new world, if you will, in terms of how we interact and how we do business and how we do plastic surgery. But let's be at the forefront, right? Let's be the guys who we set it. Yeah. We don't have to tell us how to set it. We set it. So this is what we're going to do, right? So it comes from some basic principles, right? I just had a meeting. I met a guy, a buddy of mine, who's a fabricator who's putting up plexiglass across the whole front of the office, right? We're taping off the floors to keep 6 feet and social distancing. So there's those physical constructs. And before this, I haven't done the whole virtual telemedicine thing, but this is what's coming into place now, right? We're not bringing patients into the office. We're going to interact with them teleconference. We're going to interact with them by telephone. We're going to do stuff to minimize that actual social contact. And it's a real difficult thing for a physician. I spent my whole career hands-on, right? Like see the patient, touch their skin, measure them, come up with something. And now I have to do it virtually on a screen. That's a real challenge, right? It's going to take some time. But I think it's coming, and you have to respect the recommendations of public health or your advisors. So you're going to do it. So why not come out on top? So my goal is to do it and do it well. Do it for my staff and do it for the patients. But it's a real. You talked about hurdles before. I think probably this is definitely the biggest hurdle I've been up against in terms of making this all work.
Wow. Are there any charities you like to involve yourself with, or something?
I do actually. I've done a few. I have for years. I've been involved with the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Oh God, when was that, Lindsay? When did we first start with that? 2010. And this was the Heart and Stroke Foundation. It was basically targeted towards women's health. And, we hear a lot about breast cancer, which I'm involved with, the breast cancer awareness. I'm involved with that. And we do donations to those campaigns. But there was one that really struck me was women and cardiovascular disease for women. You just don't hear a lot about it, breast cancer. I mean, it's out there. You hear a lot about it, but this you don't. And it kind of struck a chord with me years ago. I'm surrounded by women, right? I have 2 girls. I've got Lindsay. I mean, it's everywhere. So it's important. So I got involved with this campaign, and we've been doing it now since 2010. which is a great fundraiser, basically for cardiovascular research and treatment of women's cardiovascular disease. And it's been great. Unfortunately, this year they do a really nice event here in Moncton. They call it the Red Dress Gala, where they select some different women who have suffered from or know someone who is very close with cardiovascular issues, and they dress them up and they have designers, and it's a really, really, really great evening. It got canceled this year, obviously because of the COVID-19 and the restrictions. But that's probably my go-to. That's my go-to. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, because I could do this all night with you. You're
we can, yeah,
we can chat.
We're getting to the end of our interview, so we're going to get into our quick-fire questions. Last chance for viewers to get to know a little bit more about you and some things you choose. So try to answer as quickly as you possibly can without putting too much thought into them. You ready?
Should you be here for this, or should you plug your ears? I'm not sure.
We're not asking about anything sexual, sort of. So
I'm looking forward to it. I thought that was the highlight. Like I was like 10 out of 10. Like I thought this was
ask what you can show us. So
okay, all right. Is this PG? Isn't this PG-14 or something?
I have no idea. It's the internet. Anything goes. All right. Red or blue?
Blue.
Black or white?
Black.
Green or black?
Black.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Mom or dad?
Mom.
Mom or Lindsay?
Lindsay. She's laughing. I'm like, you could have put anything next to that, and I would have said Lindsay because she's in the earshot. You could have said, new Porsche 911 Targa, Lindsay.
The doorbell rings. Jennifer Aniston's at the door. Stay or go?
Stay.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. Take one skincare item with you. What would it be?
Vaseline. That came to my mind. Why are you laughing?
That's a great answer. I like that.
Lips and sunburn.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure
100%. Favorite drink?
IPA.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a beautiful beer.
Yeah.
I've never had one. You guys are going to have to buy me one. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Nathan or me?
Nathan.
Oh!
Yes! Yes! I deserve that one.
Well, then
see, because I'm probably more likely to bump into him before I'm going to bump into you. So I'm trying to like cover my tracks, right? Like, I'm trying to avoid obstacle.
I'm feeling a little bit like Lindsay here, like you're just saying all the wrong thing.
Come in. I need to get her in.
Lindsay, come on over.
Oh, honest to God, like we can ask other questions, but my absolute rock is right here. This is my rock right here.
We love that. We love that.
Amazing.
This is my rock. She keeps me humble. She calls me out on my BS.
There's never any BS. Last thing for the lady viewers and for some male viewers, please let me flex those arms, man. You got some guns on you. They're bigger than my head. How often you work?
It's the COVID. That's what I've been doing. I told you I'm going downstairs. So we got this little gym we set up downstairs. And we're like going every day because I have nothing else to do, right?
Look at the
guns. Yay! I love it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Get them out.
I got the plasticine here. I molded these up. These are silicone, these implants here.
Mine's silicone shifted down here. You're going to have to
shift. Yeah, that happens sometimes, George. It does shift.
You're the one pulling me out of that tunnel with those arms. Yeah. Bring the Vaseline.
Vaseline. It's good for everything.
So I've got a couple of questions to end, but before I end the questions, the open house, are you going to do it again this year?
Absolutely. Well, when we were going to do it, Linz, November, I think.
Because I still have my diary.
We're kind of
because I'm
battling the restrictions and the social distancing thing. So we don't have a date. Normally we would have done November like last year, but we're kind of. But wasn't that fantastic? Wasn't that
And I've got an idea for you.
okay?
Uh-oh.
What about Skinterviews live at your event?
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Well, I'll tell you, George, when we did this open house, we did this chic event, which was absolutely phenomenal. Like this thing was like, forget plastic surgery, forget product. Like this was just fun, right? It was like going like this, it was just fun. So when we were setting it up, the gal who was doing the decor and stuff, she said, well, we can get those lights that you go outside, you know, like that go into the sky. What do you call them? Hollywood lights. She's like, well, we're not going to do those because I'm like, absolutely, we're doing those for sure. Put it outside. And a buddy of mine knew this was going on. Another surgeon, he's a neck surgeon. He was driving to Moncton and he calls me. He says, tell me you didn't put I know you did. I'm like, yes, absolutely I did. This was awesome. I had these Hollywood lights. Like I thought it was cool. Like it was
I heard about your event the next day, automatically. Both.
Oh no, it was killer. It was killer.
Nathan and Judy, right away. They were writing about it.
So we're gonna do Skinterviews live then. You got to choose some people for us to interview.
Oh well, I can set that up. We just have to find a date. I don't know, Lindsay. Are we gonna? I don't know.
It's probably
jam right now in terms of scheduling, right? But
it's probably best we wait for provincial scheduling and stuff like that. But let's do it. But before we let you go, Brent, because we better let you get back to Lindsay, otherwise she's never going to let us interview you again.
Yeah, she'll never let me talk to you again.
Yeah. Your current skincare regimen, what are you doing at the moment?
Me, I use a lot of Vaseline, and I'm going to be honest. This is honesty time.
Yep.
I'm terrible. I have a whole host of products. And I was given very simple this, Vivier kit that was very simple to use.
Yeah.
I do it kind of.
That's all right.
And most of the times I do it, I get out of the shower and then I feel the twist. Put this on your cheeks, and Lindsay drops it on my face. She's rubbing it in, and she's on me all the time about sunscreen. So I do it, but I'm probably not the biggest. Like I'm not like I do this day. I typically, she laughs at me. I use shampoo for a full body wash, or soap, whatever. Like whatever the product I. Because my shower is like I'm surrounded by women, right? So when I go into the shower, it's like you're walking into this like amusement park of product. And it's like I can't tell what's soap, what's moisturizer, what's whatever. I just reach for something with a pump and I pump it and I go to the top and I wash down and I hose off and I get out, right? So and then I will use some of the Grenzine products and then sunscreen, but.
Love it.
No, it's simple, but that's a good thing about it. It's simple because for me to say, or any guy, you're going to do this 3 times a day, you're not, right? You're just not. So I like these products because they're quick, they're simple. In the morning, gone. That's it.
Love it. So last question. Who would you like us to interview on the show? And can you help us make it happen?
Who would you interview on the show? Who would be a good... Well, Scott Barr would be awesome.
We would love you if you could reach out to him. That'd be great.
I'll reach out to Scott. Yeah. Scott is like
he's a legend.
He's a demigod to me, right? The guy's super cool, like chill. Him and I first met him. We went with a company to Amsterdam to see their plant, and we spent 3 days in Amsterdam. We'll just leave it at that. But anyway, that's like we met him, and he's an absolutely fantastic guy.
Yeah, I love him. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him.
Okay,
amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Brent. It's always great to catch up with you. Thank you for being so honest as always. It was a great yarn. I have to agree.
Yeah, it's
a very good yarn.
Definitely not a yawn. Definitely not a yawn.
Yeah.
And for our viewers that want to get in touch with Dr. Howley, you can find him on Instagram at Dr. Howley. Of course, you can go to drhowley.com to keep it simple. Brent, thank you so much for being here today. we had a great time with you. It was very interesting, and I want to say a special thank you to Lindsay that kept coming in. You know,
yes, her cameo. She's looking for, hoping she'll get like a shot on Survivor or one of these shows like From Up Here. Like we want her on Survivor.
She's already winning Survivor with you.
Look at her. She's in the podcast. She's like, stop it, seriously, stop it, stop. I'm like, no, look.
I'm honestly just trying to be quiet. I'm like tiptoeing around, and then he gives an answer. I'm like, no, that's
your
not
hair
right.
was not hanging to the right like that. This is stage performance. Your hair's like all nice.
It was nice meeting you, George. Yeah. Nice to see you, Nathan.
You take care. We'll see you in the forever.
All right, guys. This was fun. Thanks again. This was great. I'm happy to do it anytime. It's just fun. Take a half hour and shoot it with you guys. That was fun.
Amazing. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching the show today, too. You can catch more Skinterviews if you head over to our YouTube or Facebook page, Skinterviews by Nathan and George. You can get us on LinkedIn as well, Skinterviews by Nathan and George. Of course, on Facebook, we will be facebook.com/skin.terviews, and the same for our Instagram handles. You can see full episodes or clips there. Let us know who you want to see on the show next. Send us a message, an email. Maybe you want to ask a question of one of our experts, or you have a good idea of how to get to know them better. Send those questions in too. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is, and stay healthy and safe and enjoy the nicer weather. Bye-bye.